Welcome to another Black Myth Wukong boss tutorial video, and in today's video we're taking down Erlang Shang. In order to get to this boss, you first have to defeat the 5 secret bosses of the 5 first chapters, and then after that we're going to head to chapter 3 so we can fight Erlang Shang. I'm going to show you how to get there, the build we're going to use, and the strategies and tips I use to defeat him. After you've defeated the 5 secret bosses in the first 5 chapters, head to chapter 3 and look for this giant pagoda. This pagoda has an entrance that we can go inside of. If everything was done right, once you get inside the pagoda, you'll see a couple old friends talking by this portrait, which has now come to life, and we can go inside of it to fight Erlang Shang. The first thing we're going to need to bring down Erlang is going to be the plantain fan. When you use the plantain fan, it creates a hurricane that's not only going to stop his attacks, it's going to make him vulnerable to attacks, and it's going to drain his shield. It's also a bonus for us that the plantain fan runs on key. As far as spirits go, as much as I want to use the Falcon Hermit, we're going to be using the Wandering Wight. First of all, because his attack is so strong that it'll deal damage to Erlang even if he has his shield up. But we also equip him because the passive bonus increases our defense by 30 points, which is definitely going to help in this fight. As far as armor goes, you probably just got this really cool in-game armor set, but I would actually use the golden armor set. First of all, it's going to increase the damage you do anytime you use the Wandering Wight Spirit or the plantain fan, which we plan on using both before we get our major attacks in. This armor set also makes it so the critical hits we get grant us a small amount of ki, which means we can use the plantain fan sooner, which means we can bring down his shield quicker. Now, I do have weapons that are stronger than the Spider Celestial Staff, and I have no poison in this build, so there's no buff I'm getting from it. But the reason I'm going to use this staff in the fight is because of that critical hit increase of 12%. Because every time I get a critical hit, I get a small amount of ki, and then we can use that plantain fan again. As far as curios go, I really think you can use anything that goes with your playstyle, but I'm going to use the Jade Moon Rabbit and the Gold Sun Crow, as well as the Tridacna Pendant, because I hate waiting for my spells to cool down. For skills, we're going to be using Immobilize and Cloud Step, so fully upgrade both of those, but a Pluck of Many I think costs too much for this fight. In the foundation skill tree, you have to fully upgrade your critical hit chance, because we're relying on critical hits to help us use the fan more often. We're also going to fully upgrade the staff spin, because using the staff spin gets in so many more hits that we're much more likely to get more critical hits and increase our ki faster. And under the stamina tree, I upgraded it to the point where I would get focus whenever I had a perfect dodge. For your staff stances, I'm really interested in 2 things: being able to sprint around and smash stance, and having Deadly Dance at the bottom of the thrust tree upgraded, so that when we have 4 focus points, we can quickly initiate an attack that doesn't take a ton of time because of an animation. For transformations, I'm interested in helping out my Cloud Step ability, upgrading my defense, and making it so that I'll do more damage whenever I get one of those perfect dodges. But I never actually used a transformation against Erlang because he has a counter for pretty much every transformation in this game. We're using Cloud Step as a defense, which means we don't always know when we're going to use it, so using Eagle Eye to keep the cooldown low on your Cloud Step is essential for this fight. We're also going to use Whistling Wind to increase our attack after a perfect dodge, Lingering Aroma so we do more damage after we use our spells like Immobilize, then we'll do the Tongue of the Connoisseur to increase our health from our gourd, and finally Everlasting Vitality to increase our health. The final important part of this build is making sure that your gourd is using the drink of the Sunset of the 9 Skies. That way, every time we take a sip of our gourd, we're also going to get some more ki back, and we can use that if we need some help bringing back the plantain fan or the Wandering Wight. Now with the boring parts out of the way, let's jump right into the fight. As soon as you get to the top of the stairs, make sure you're locked onto Erlang and send out your plantain fan. If you're 1 second too late with this move, then this spear is going to stab you and it's not going to work. The hurricane is going to slowly lower his shield, and while that's happening, you want to charge up a heavy attack and smash stance. As soon as the shield is depleted, go ahead and unleash your heavy attack. After that, get as close as you can so you don't miss, and use your spirit to bring down his health a little more. While he recovers, we're going to mobilize and then hurry and use our staff spin as much as we can to hurry and build up to 4 focus points. If you don't get to the 4th focus point, hopefully you can get a perfect dodge, and that should be enough to get you there. Then you can unleash your heavy attack, but I don't suggest doing it in smash stance here. I was lucky this landed. We should have switched over to thrust stance to get in the heavy attack. Either way, that should take care of phase 1. Phase 2 of this fight is always going to start the same way, with Erlang summoning a giant axe that's going to attack you. You want to dodge the initial attack and then jump over a shockwave that comes right after it, and try to be as close as you can to Erlang so you can get in some staff spins while he recovers and build up some ki. After that, he decides to retaliate with some of these crazy lightning moves that were a little too much for me, and that's why I have Cloud Step as a defense. I'm going to use it and create a decoy. That way he can do all his crazy moves to the decoy and I can stay safely out of the way. Now while I'm in Cloud Step, since I had plantain fan ready, go ahead and use it. Then we can charge up a heavy attack, wait for his shield to be depleted, unleash the heavy attack, then get nice and close so we don't miss, and we can use our spirit, the Wandering Wight. As he's recovering from that, we're going to mobilize him, then we're going gonna staff spin and try to build up 4 focus points. But we weren't able to do it because we got his life down to 50%, which means it's time for phase 3. But don't worry, that's a good thing.
When he was dragged to the execution yard, sword and spear were dulled, cleaver and cudgel crumbled, and yet he emerged unscathed. Yet he gave his life to put you in this place. Let me see where you pass.
When you see the lightning strike here, that's how you know it's time to start spinning your staff, and watch out for his dive attack. Now here I used 4 focus points, but not in thrust stance, so the animation took too long and he easily dodged it. Use thrust stance.
When you know, it's too late. My skin and lightning my heart.
That was quite sloppy and we took a lot of damage, but luckily when we use our gourd, it also brings us some ki, which means we can use our fan again.
Those in celestial heights, many of them are below, and few are like it.
So it turns out Erlang is a really tough fight and he hits really hard, and it doesn't get any easier in the 3rd phase, so you might want to use a couple pills to help get through this. And to make sure your plantain fan activates, I would go to Cloud Step first and then use your fan. Plus, if you're still in Cloud Step, you can run up and get an Unveiling Strike in. Then you can charge up a 3 focus heavy attack, but this time making sure we're in Smash Stance so we can follow him. Once the shield is gone, we give him the Smash Stance attack, and then we get really close and use our Spirit, the Wandering Light. And as he recovers from that, we're going to mobilize him, then we're going to switch to our staff spin and hurry and try to build up 4 focus points. Now once we have the 4 focus points, switch to thrust stance like this. Then when you dodge, you'll automatically attack and he won't have a chance to evade it. The good sign is too, we built up enough ki to just use our plantain fan and wandering light and repeat this whole attack again.
Ready to start me. If you can't evade this, the great sage, just a coward type. None ever dared to turn the wheel. Cross line again, as you know. I must.
Oh snap, he just saw through the Cloud Step and stopped our plantain fan. But luckily they were nice enough not to take our ki away. We can still use the fan. We've just lost all of our mana, so we don't have any Immobilize or Cloud Step. But his life is so low now, I'm not really worried about that. We'll just try to get a safe distance so we can get the fan off, and then we can follow up with a charged heavy attack as soon as he loses his shield, which should be enough to finish him. Well, maybe not quite, but just one more hit or two. And that, my friends, is how a monkey brings down an old friend. If you have any other comments, strategies, or suggestions for this fight, please leave them in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey.